welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I am Amanda from Amanda the Biblio, and today I have an announcement. This announcement is for a year-long reading challenge that I am doing, and I'm super excited about it. It is absolutely massive, and I will be completely honest, as of filming and when this video goes up, I am most likely not done. I'm definitely not done now. I need to get this announcement out so you all can be ready when the year starts. So I just wanted to get this filmed. I do not have all the prompts figured out. I do not have templates. I don't have the website ready. Nothing's ready right now. I will hopefully have at least the website ready by the time this video goes up, but we'll see. Life is busy. So as you could probably see from the title of this video, the title of the challenge is PokeManda Reading Challenges, PokeManda, but it's based on Pokemon. Now the name was kind of a joke that my friend Charlotte said when I was talking to her about all this. And I was like, you know what, we're doing that because why not? So I am going to need some opinions, which is why I want to get this video up earlier, and obviously so you have time to prepare. I need some questions answered to figure out what the best method would be for this, and we will get into that later. But for now, let's go over kind of the rules and the goal of this reading challenge, and let's just get into it. So overall, the main goal of the reading challenge is to catch Pokemon. There are going to be 3 separate levels to this, and each level has different rules, kind of. But overall, the main goal is to catch Pokemon. So the main way to catch Pokemon in this is to read a book that fits the normal prompt. There's also the option to catch shiny versions of the Pokemon, and those are activity prompts that you can do after starting the book for the reading prompt. It'll make more sense like once you actually see the prompts, but you have to do the reading prompt and the activity prompt if you're going to catch the shiny. The shiny prompt can be done after starting the book that you're going to be reading for the reading prompt, if that makes any sense. I'm sorry if that's confusing. And it can be done anytime after you finish it, just it has to be after you start it. So you can't do the activity prompt and then start the book for the reading prompt, if that makes sense. All forms of reading count. I'm not going to tell you what you can and cannot count for this. As long as it fits into the prompt, then it counts. It can be a novel, a novella, a poem. It can be a webtoon that you find. Even if you can't count it on Storygraph, if you have read it, then it's counting. You can count fan fiction if you want. Just obviously know that these things that are not on Storygraph will not be able to count towards the Storygraph challenge. Same with DNFs. If you want to count them, go ahead. If you don't, then don't. If you do want to count them, they will not count toward the Storygraph challenge because of the way that Storygraph works. Now let's get into the different levels of the challenge. So the first level is trainer mode, or this is the easy mode. For this, you just have to read 6 books. You cannot double up with books for this though, or for prompts. Obviously, activity prompts do not count. They obviously have to be done with the reading prompt. Like, you cannot read one book for 2 separate Pokemon. But for this, your main goal is to make a team. If you want to read the same prompt 6 times, then go for it. That's up to you. But otherwise, you just choose 6 Pokemon, read the prompts for that. If you want the shinies, do the activity prompts, and you're golden. Technically, you finished trainer mode. The trainer mode will not have a specific story graph. You will have to make that on your own because it depends on what team you want. The next 2 modes will have the overall story graph. There will be 2 separate story graphs for them because they are done a little bit differently. The second mode is champion mode, and for this one, you have to collect all of the Pokemon except the evolutions. You only have to complete 1 book prompt for that. So say you are doing champion mode and there's Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. You only need to read one of those 3 prompts for the Pokemon, and you would have all 3 of them. You'd have that evolutionary chain. You still have to read the single Pokemon that do not have evolutions in this region, but for the evolutionary Pokemon, you just have to read 1 to count for all of them. And this is kind of the medium mode. You can double up with this one, but you can only double up. You cannot triple up or anything like that. You can only use 1 book for 2 separate prompts. And then finally, we have the Nuzlocke version. If you kind of keep up with the online gaming Pokemon community, then you probably know what a Nuzlocke is. I don't know how widespread it is outside of that. That's where I learned about it. But for that. Usually it's you have a specific set of rules and you have to make it through the game or to a certain point or whatever using those rules. So it's kind of like a hard mode for Pokemon. So of course I wanted that to be the hard mode for PokeManda. Now in this one you have to catch one of each Pokemon. You can double up still if you would like. If you would prefer not to, then that's fine. This is hard mode because you have to read at minimum 75 books. 75, 76. I did not say in the beginning, but each year, at least as of right now, if we do end up continuing this, we are going to do the next region. So if you don't finish the Kanto region, which is this year's, which is 2026's, if you don't finish it, you can continue on into 2027 and beyond. I will just be announcing the next region, and that's when the next region will start, is in 2027, and hopefully I'll be more prepared. So again, we have trainer mode, which is only 6 Pokemon, but you cannot double up. We have champion mode, which is every Pokemon except evolutionary change, you only have to read 1, and you can double up. And then we have Nuzlocke, which is every single Pokemon, but you can double up. I know that reading 151 books is not doable for everybody. I did not want to make Nuzlocke mode impossible, which is why I allowed doubling up there. Alright, so this is kind of where I need help. We're getting into the challenges. I am not going through every single challenge in this video. That would take 7 million years. And like I said, I don't have them all planned out yet. So first of all, if you have any recommendations for any prompts for any Pokemon, feel free to leave them down below. It'll help me out a ton. I am using references to the Pokemon, so anything that you could relate to the Pokemon, maybe something related to the Pokemon's appearance in the show, maybe something in a game, just something tied to the Pokemon. So in this video I will go over the first 12 prompts, and I think what I will do is each month I will release the next 12 and so on, depending on where it cuts off. It might be a little bit more if it's in the middle of an evolutionary chain. But my question for you all is, would you like the entire list up front, or should this be like a monthly thing? Obviously, you can backtrack and you can do the prompts later than that month. So like if I'm announcing July's group, you can backtrack for January through June to see if any of those books fit into these prompts. Or you can do a March prompt in July. That makes sense. I just want to know if you would all prefer to have all of the prompts up front, all 151 of them, or if you would like the monthly release. Either way, I plan to make a video like announcing the next 12 Pokemon so that we can kind of keep the interest going, I guess, and kind of keep reminding you guys about it, because I know I am easy to forget challenges that I'm doing, so having the monthly post will help to remind me. So let's go over the first 12 Pokemon and their prompts. So first up we have Bulbasaur, and the prompt for this is to read a book with mostly green on the cover. It does not have to be the same shade of green, but it has to be some form of green. And it has to take up most of the cover, not just a tiny little bit of it. Obviously this is because Bulbasaur's green. And the shiny prompt for that is to eat or drink something healthy. This can be a cup of water, if you would like. Or you can go all out and make a whole meal that is super healthy. Just consume something healthy. Fruit, vegetable, water. Like I said, it doesn't have to be super extravagant, but as long as you eat or drink the healthy thing after you start the book that has mostly green on the cover, then you've got the shiny. Next up is Ivysaur, and for this, the prompt to catch the Pokemon is read a summer book. The reason I chose this prompt is because Ivysaur, the more sun there is, the stronger the Pokemon is. So summer is usually super sunny, so it works. And then the shiny prompt is to enjoy the weather, which obviously ties into that. But I will say it does not have to be in the summer. You can enjoy the winter weather. You can go out and play in the snow, or kind of sit by your window with it closed because it's cold out. But sit by the window and enjoy the snowfall. It does not have to be in the summer going outside and enjoying the weather. Enjoy the weather in whatever form you feel works for you. And then last up of that evolutionary chain is Venusaur. For this, it is to read the final book in a series. Obviously, Venusaur is the last evolution for Bulbasaur, so it works. And then the shiny prompt is to create something floral. This, you could either crochet some flowers, you could go out and pick some flowers and make a bouquet, you could draw some flowers, make a graphic that is floral based. You could color flowers. Honestly, anything creative that is floral. Next up we have Charmander, and the reading prompt is to read a book that brings you life. So if you know Charmander, when the little fire on his tail goes out, that usually means not great things. So in this case, we are doing the opposite, and we are going to read a book that brings us life. So this can just be a book that you really enjoyed. And then the activity prompt is to rest and recharge. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Next up we have Charmeleon, and the reading prompt is to read a young adult. If you have watched the show, which a lot of these references are from, at least the early Pokemon. If you watch the show, then you know that Charmander is kind of sassy and acts just like a teenager. So read a young adult. Charmeleon is mentioned as being hot-headed in a bunch of the Pokedex entries. So the activity prompt is to take a deep breath to kind of loosen up that hot-headedness a little bit. And then finishing off this evolutionary chain is Charizard. For this one, the reading prompt is to read a book that you expected to be one thing, but was something else. So looking at Charizard, you'd expect him to be a dragon, but he is not a dragon type, which I think has to do with, I don't know if there was a dragon type back then, I don't know, but he's not a dragon type. I don't know the details on why, but read a book that you expected to love and didn't, or that you expected not to love and did, one that you expected to be a certain type of story and it just wasn't, a thriller that the twist was something you didn't expect, something along those lines. And then the shiny prompt has to do with Charizard from the show. Again, if you remember, that Charizard did not want to do anything. Ash's Charizard was not wanting to follow orders at all. So the shiny prompt is to lay in bed and read for a bit. And the next Pokemon is Squirtle. Now this is my son's favorite Pokemon, and I wanted to make a prompt kind of related to him, but I ended up going with buddy read a book. So my plan is to buddy read a book with him for this. And I chose that prompt because if you watch the show, then you know about the Squirtle Squad. And then tied to that as well, we have the shiny prompt, which is to do a group activity. Now, sprinting or joining into sprints can count for this. Doing a book club and having a meeting for the book club can count, or at least having discussions. It doesn't have to be an in-person group activity if that's not something that works for you. It even could be a family get-together that you have. That could totally work. Next up we have Wartortle. The Pokedex entries talk about how Wartortle is a sign of longevity. So the reading prompt is to read a book that you've been wanting to read for a while, and the shiny prompt is to do something that you've been trying to get done for a while, or that you've had to get done for a while. And then finishing off that evolutionary chain, we have Blastoise. So Blastoise uses his heavy body a lot in battle, so read a heavy book. This can be heavy subject matter, physically heavy, whatever you prefer. And then because he's a water Pokemon, drink some water for the shiny prompt. We could all use some more water. And then the last evolutionary chain that we are going to go through starts out with Caterpie, and this was Ash's first wild catch in the original Pokemon, so count the first book that you read this year for this prompt. And also, Caterpie, when it's trying to protect itself, it shoots this like scent out of its antenna, and it's a really bad scent, but I'm not going to make you deal with a really bad scent. Instead, for the shiny prompt, enjoy your favorite scent. This can be in a candle, a wax melt, a spray. You could go to a coffee shop and enjoy that scent. Go to a bookstore, enjoy the new book scent. Whatever your favorite scent is, just find a way to enjoy it. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be a candle, but you could bake and get that scent in the house. I thought of this while I was making banana bread today, which smelled delicious. But the next Pokemon is Metapod. The reading prompt for this is to read a hardcover, because if you remember Metapod in the show, there were two Metapods. It was Ash's and then somebody else's. And the only move that they knew was Harden. So they just kept using Harden against each other and nothing happened, and it went on for hours until the Beedrills came and ruined everything. For this one, it is to read a hardcover, and then the shiny prompt is to do some form of exercise. Now I want to say this does not have to be a physical exercise. It can be a mental one by doing a puzzle or a Sudoku or something like that. I know it's not necessarily accessible for everybody to do physical exercise, so do whatever works for you. If you can do physical exercise and you want to, then go for it. If it's not your thing, then don't. Obviously, stretch any of these prompts however you need to make it accessible for you. Just make sure that they stick to the essence of what the prompt is supposed to be. Just like with the hardcover prompt, you do not necessarily need to physically read the hardcover, but if you listen to the audiobook of a hardcover that you own, or maybe a book that's only available in hardcover right now, instead of hardcover and paperback, it counts. And lastly, for this video at least, we are going to talk about Butterfree. I will not get into what happens because it's super sad and I know that I'm going to cry if I talk about it. This episode broke me in the show, so for the reading prompt, read a book that you think will make you cry. It does not necessarily have to make you cry, especially if you're not somebody that cries a lot while reading, but one that you think at least, or count one that does make you cry, whichever. And then for the shiny prompt, because the Butterfree in the show ended up finding love, so go on a date. This does not have to be with a partner though. If you would not like or you do not have a partner, that is perfectly fine. You can go on a date with yourself, you can go on a date with family, friends, literally anybody that you feel like going on a date with. You also do not need to go out to go on a date. If you would prefer to just stay home, watch a movie, treat yourself to something, that totally works. But those are the only prompts I'm going to go over today. Next month I will go over the next 12, but again, let me know in the comments if you want all of them up front, or if you would like me to just announce them monthly and allow you to backtrack with your reading and stuff. Also, don't forget to recommend any prompts down below because this is a lot. These can be activity or reading prompts. I need all of them. Currently, I am on Pidgey. If you're looking for a number, that is 16 out of 151. There will be a website with all of the information. There will be the 2 separate story graphs. If, again, you decide to go on the easy route, the trainer mode, you're going to have to make that yourself. I'm sorry about that, but it would be too much for me to try to make one for each pairing that can exist. And most of the discussions will be happening in Discord, so make sure that you are joining the next chapter Discord. It will be linked down below. That's it for this video. I do hope that you enjoyed. Leave me any emote in the comments related to Pokemon in any way. I do hope that you join me in this. It's going to be a lot of fun and I am really looking forward to it. I decided to do this at like 3 o'clock in the morning, which is why nothing's planned. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like it if you did, and subscribe if you would like to see more from me and for the future announcements of the Pokemon. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!